Right, so you know things have gone sideways when a plane load of Palestinians turns up in Johannesburg and the South African government has to ask who sent them, why nobody called ahead, and why half of them didn't even know they were coming until the stopover in Nairobi. And then you look at the paperwork and realise, well, hang on a minute, there isn't any, which is always a good sign when civilians are being moved out of a war zone, isn't it? The group doing the movement calls itself Al-Majd Europe, which sounds like a respectable NGO until you try to find the registration or the office or the legal trail and discover the whole thing is basically a social media inbox linked to an Estonian recruitment outfit. And then you see the buses coming through Kerem Shalom, escorted by Israeli authorities, and it stops being a mystery flight and starts looking like something far more familiar. A quiet removal all dressed up as rescue. Right, so a few days ago, a passenger plane landed in Johannesburg carrying 153 Palestinians from Gaza, and nobody in South Africa knew they were coming. Nobody in the South African government had authorised their arrival. And nobody in that airport knew what paperwork they were meant to ask for because none of the passengers had visas, none had Israeli exit stamps, and most of them didn't even know they were headed to South Africa until they arrived in Nairobi. You don't need to start a video like this with shock because that's the trick every official involved is hoping will run out the clock. You start it by saying plainly what has happened because the plain version is already staggering enough, quite frankly. These people were taken out of Gaza under siege conditions, driven through Kerem Shalom, escorted across Israeli territory, loaded onto a charter flight at Ramon Airport, and deposited in a country that had never agreed to take them. Make that make sense, but that's what's happened. Everything else is mechanics and consequence, which is where the politics sits right now.